Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, sucking my peers. Yeah. We are here. Welcome back to the Coach's Huddle, where the field meets family. It's your boy, the coach, and we are back for another regular scheduled segment of the Neutral Zone. I am flanked to my left or right, depending on the orientation of your mobile device, your television, or your computer. My guy, Chunder Boy. What's good, baby? How you doing?
How's it going, my guy?
I'm feeling great, man. Niners are 4-1. We got Tampa Bay coming up. There's a quarterback controversy, yada, 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 mean-a-ding. We got to see what's going on. Hey, but first things first. There's a couple of things that I want to get to. Right now, spirits are high, okay? Optimism is through the roof. Things that haven't happened before are happening, and right now, you can be a prisoner of the moment. There's an opportunity for you to miss the fine print. But let's lead with it. Let's go ahead and lean in. The Niners are 4-1, which is all but turned around expectations for the season. Before the season had started, Kyle Shanahan himself said that the Niners should be they're a work in progress. Well, definitely going to be a different team by week 12, alluding to the fact that the Niners were a little bit half-baked, not ready to start the season. They've all but proven that that is not true. They've been hurt, undefeated on the road, have backup Mac Jones playing phenomenally, career games by Kendrick Bourne. The defense, even though they have lost, Nick Bosa is playing inspired, and we want to keep it going. In years past, when we've been inside of our window, Chunder Boy, there's always been a little bit room for more. We've always needed a play. We've been a player away, right? Whether it be Charles Omenihu, whether it be Christian McCaffrey, right? We always get a guy that we feel as though is going to change the trajectory or keep the trajectory of the current state of the team. I guess the question is, are we run worthy? Do the 49ers see themselves in contention truly? And if so, is it time to go get another player, and where?
I think the 49ers do think they're in contention now. I don't think they came into the season really. Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch both talk about every year there's a handful of teams that actually have a chance. And you just want to be one of those teams that has a chance. And I think that this year the 49ers came into the season thinking, more like Jim Carrey, so you saying there's a chance, right? Not so much an actual realistic shot that they were going to make a run. I think that has changed. I think that some of the rookies have played better than expected early on. Although they've certainly made some rookie plays, there has not been anywhere near as much of a learning curve and nowhere near as many bumps in the road as I think some people may have expected with the rookies. I think, as you alluded to yesterday on Jesse's show, they have the perfect combination of veteran leadership and youth and vibrance. And I think that they really could make a run. Now, the heart of the question is, do they need to do something to make that run? Do they need to make an acquisition? There's only two spots on this team that I feel like if they made an acquisition, it could really, really take things to another level for the team. I guess really three. So both sides of the trenches.
Mm-hmm.
If they did something to improve their offensive line, and we'll get to why that needs to happen later in the show, or if they do something to bring in a pass rusher. What I don't want to see them do is mortgage the future to bring somebody in. It's not the kind of season where it's like, you're there. A lot of things have gone right for the 49ers this season for them to be in the position they're in. and say they should definitely try to capture the momentum,
Mm-hmm.
but they shouldn't mortgage the future based on that, because it hasn't all just been we're that good. A lot of balls have bounced the right way. So outside of going and getting a situational pass rusher or getting somebody to shore up this offensive line, the only other position I could see them going to get someone, and this is the one place where I would say future draft capital would be okay, if you got the right guy, is in the secondary.
Really?
If you went and got a corner, I just feel like Renardo Green has been good, not great. I feel like Stout is great. I think he's been excellent in the slot. I think Demo's been really good. If you matched another top corner with Demo, that could be just as helpful as going and getting a situational pass rusher. Because giving your pass rushers an extra half a second to get home, giving Huff an extra half a second to wrap all the way around the side, giving Michael Williams an extra half a second to break through the guard, I think that could be just as effective as going and getting a situational pass rusher.
So I wish you would have talked for like at least 30 more seconds, because I'd at least pulled up their grades.
So at the end of the day, what the run is dependent on is the 49ers offense has got to get some sort of efficiency, some sort of identity on offense. But on the defensive side of the ball, they really do have an identity. They're a run and hit defense, but they need one more playmaker. And I think that playmaker could come from the edge, right? Somebody like a Matthew Judon, right? Who's a little over the hill. He's on the back end of his career. But if you bring somebody like that in just to give you, 30% of the snaps to just be a pass rusher in pass rush situations, you've got somebody that wins at 3 yards with Michael Williams. You've got somebody that wins at 7 yards with Huff. You need that guy that wins at 5. That's what you lost with Bosa, amongst other things. So bringing in a Matthew Judon type would, I think, do just as much for this defense as if you did bring in a secondary guy. But that secondary guy could actually make the pass rush look better by holding up just that fraction of a second longer.
All right. So while you've been talking, I've been looking at all of the PFF pass grades for the team sans Nick Bosa, right? Nick Bosa got hurt in week 3. So I've gone basically the last 2 weeks, right? Week 4 is in week 5. There's been nobody that's had a pass rush grade over, and I just want to make sure that I'm correct. There's been nobody that's had a pass rush grade over 67.3 outside of Yetur Gross-Matos, who had a 91.4 pass rush grade out of only 8 snaps played. Yeah. So really, that's kind of like an outlier. Mm-hmm. But one thing is, I want you to forgive me. I'm not trying to put you on the spot right now. Mm-hmm. The only reason why I'm bringing up these numbers is because I want to highlight my bigger point, which is I believe that I understand. First of all, there's no wrong answer to this solution as far as our perspective is, right? Mm-hmm. We're just two dopes online giving our opinion. So I don't want to get I don't want to get like self-righteous. Yeah. But what I do want to highlight is something that I don't think you're prioritizing in the situation. And that is, we need to make sure that our talent flows from the inside out. That's how our team is built, especially on defense. Mm-hmm. We are a front 7 team. That's how that is the reason why we run cover 3. That is the reason why we run the coverages that we run, is because a lot of our money, our talent, and our energy goes into our linebackers and our 4-down linemen, right? So for me, I think that the Niners, even at our best, have shown that they go a little homegrown when it goes to defensive backs. They're not going to exactly go out and go get a guy mid-season. I mean, and then also if they need like a guy who's going to be kind of like a hired gun, that's exactly what they do. They go hire him, right? Saying a la Richard Sherman and Travarius Ward, right? So they'll just go get a guy. Outside of that, you're pretty much going to deal with what they have in-house. Now, for me, I think that your approach is from the outside in, where my approach is from the inside out. I do believe that if we were going to get somebody on defense, it needs to be a pass rusher. A pass rusher is something, you need to be able to get something that not only fills a hole, but it elevates the entire team. It helps everyone around that one player. And I think that having a pass rush, number one, keeps offenses honest. They can't tip towards Bryce Huff. Number two, it allows us to get a lot more much needed snaps at interior defensive tackle. We get a defensive tackle back if we get an edge. You know why? Because that means that Michael Williams get kicked back in and we can start utilizing him even more at defensive tackle. And I got to tell you right now, if you're watching the film, Michael Williams' film at defensive tackle is
it's excellent.
Yo, Michael Williams is a dog at defensive tackle. It's weird, but that's not to say that he's not good at edge. He's good, he's promising, he has a lot of potential at edge, but he's just not there yet, particularly in pass rush. However, on the inside, Michael Williams is ready now. He's beating up guards, bro. We get a lot more of that if we get an edge. Also, I'm gonna be a little sacrilegious right now, but if we get somebody in here, we get a chance to see what is a world without Nick Bosa. I mean, he's making over $30 million a year, man. I mean, I hate to put it that way, but they'll be paying attention. I know they will, right? So my biggest thing is just understanding, like, if you're going to get somebody, do it for all of the right reasons. And on top of it, it has to be more than one reason, right? That's my thing. It can't be we're getting a guy because we want to keep winning. That doesn't mean we're going to the Super Bowl. That doesn't mean that that's going to change everything. But get a guy that makes all of us perk our ears up like, oh, shit. Like if they got Kayvon Thibodeau, I would be looking at Nick Bosa like, dude, that ain't no damn.
That's sacrilegious.
Yeah, like
putting Thibodeau and Bosa in the same sentence, that is sacrilegious.
What I'm saying is that the gesture doesn't bringing in a young edge at the caliber of Kayvon Thibodeau. I'm not saying that he's on. Of course. Let me say this full stop before this gets clipped up. Kayvon Thibodeau is not on Nick Bosa's level. Can we just say that full stop? All right. So we got that out the way. What I'm trying to get to is bringing in a caliber of player like Kayvon Thibodeau at his age and stage of his career would be a gesture to Nick Bosa that you guys could just stick with this guy. You know what I mean? Like you guys really could just roll with the younger guy. So all I'm saying is that, you know, if you're going to get a guy, you know, now selfishly, I want him to get a center. I want him to get the kid out of Las Vegas.
That's selfishly. That's smart.
I think if they went ahead and got Jack, I mean, I just don't think that Davis, the owner, would ever rock with us. I think he's just kind of sworn against the Niners. He would never trade to us, but that's my sneaky get. But what do you have to say about that as far as just the inside out versus outside in situation? Pause.
So the reason that I said I wouldn't mortgage the future on an edge rusher, but I would consider it for a defensive back is I don't think that there's anybody that's legitimately available at edge that would be worth mortgaging anything in the future for. I think that it's much like going and getting a corner or even a safety who is a game-changing player is much more attainable, and that's something I'd be willing to actually put some picks behind and put some future capital behind. I just don't think there's anybody available that we could actually get on the defensive line that would be worth using future resources for. Now, the Nick Bosa thing, if nothing else has become crystal clear, this defense as a whole and this defensive line is so Nick Bosa-centric, it's nonsensical. His impact on the defense and the way offenses have to play when he's on the field has become so obvious. I was with you until these last two games happened. Because I was kind of getting on this move on from Nick Bosa train. The only thing that gives me any pause is the injuries starting to pile up. Now multiple ACLs, one in both knees, and so on and so forth. So if you're going to consider moving Nick, it has to be for a massive haul because the entire pass rush and the function of the defense is dramatically shifted when Nick Bosa is not in the game. And this is now the third time around that we've lost Nick Bosa for a stretch of time, and we've just seen a night and day difference in the way the defense operates.
I used to do security for a long time, physical security. And I had a contract with a pawn shop at one point. And the damnedest thing will be the people who would come in to pawn versus the people who would come in to sell. The people who come in to pawn, they're confident. They come in. They know that what they're giving up, they're going to come back and get, right? Most of them are regulars. They kind of use the pawn shop as like a little petty cash fund. I'm up against rent. I got to pay a light bill. Let me go ahead and turn in my gold watch. I'll get it back. And those are regulars. You know those guys. But the dudes who sell never know the market. You know why? Because they need the money really bad. So when they walk in there with their paddock, or they walk in there with their gold watch or their rope chain or their Rolex, and Mr. Jim at the pawn shop says, "Hey man, I give you $500 for this." They go ballistic. Like, what? 500? And the problem is that, brother, you wouldn't be here if you didn't need that $500. You know what I'm saying? The Niners are erring on the side of that scenario, bro. If they don't do something with Nick Bosa. What you said about getting a haul for Nick Bosa, bro, we gonna be walking into the pawn shop with a Rolex, bro. And they gonna tell us, I'm gonna give you $500 for that. And we paid 10 racks for it. All right, he's got multiple knee injuries. What he's going to garner on the market is not what you think he's going to get, man.
Probably not.
All right, we talking about street prices, baby. All right, this thing is hot. It ain't coming. You ain't buying this off the rack. So you might as well get all of them market prices out the window. That ain't happening. You know what I'm saying? That's not happening. So I'll tell you this right now. I think that the best thing for them to do is find out exactly how they're going to move on from Nick, because what do you think? Let me ask you something. What do you think Nick Bosa is going to be after this injury?
That's impossible to say, because it really could go either direction. He could be exactly the same. He also could have a serious drop off, because his explosive, him coming out of his stance explosive, combined with his ability to use his hands, is what makes him so effective. He's not a bend the edge guy. He's a get in your chest and make you make a mistake immediately guy. So as long as he still has that explosiveness, he'll be fine. From all the reports, it's a clean ACL tear. It should heal fine. He shouldn't have any, and the procedures have come such a long way that a lot of times guys return to form. But having said that, he tore this ACL before. So and I'm not talking about when he tore it with the Niners before. I believe he tore this ACL back in high school or high school. Yeah. So this is the second one. There's no way to know what he'll be when he comes back. And I think that's why, to use your pawn shop analogy, you take the Rolex and you go back home and you just hang on to the Rolex.
Yeah.
He's more valuable to us than he is in
He's not going to play on the market,
team.
Bro. So we're going to put
yeah.
Nick Bosa on the market. There is no scenario where we put Nick Bosa on the market and we get a first-round pick for Nick Bosa. Not after these injuries.
Yeah, it would depend on a lot of factors. I don't think there's no scenario, but I do think it's a stretch to consider that he might bring a first-round pick because of the injuries and the fact he's coming off of an injury currently. So it's not like he's a year removed from multiple injuries. He's literally injured now. So trying to move him this offseason, let's say
there's no way you can
Thibodeau.
move him offseason. He's hurt. You can't move a hurt player.
Yeah, so let's say we bring in Thibodeau. Thibodeau's awesome, and we decide, hey, we're going to keep the young guy. We're going to give him a contract, and once Nick's healthy, we're going to move him. First of all, the whole world knows you're going to move him because you signed Kayvon Thibodeau.
True.
And number two, he's coming off that injury, so the likelihood that you're going to get anything good for him is extremely low. So in that situation, just play out the contract and structure Thibodeau's contract to where his money doesn't hit until after Bosa's gone. Because you can just cut Bosa outright or trade him for peanuts before the last year. I'm saying before the last year of his deal.
I'm looking for it now. Steve-O brought it up because he's an asshole. But I did notice that I know that Nick Bosa's dead cap is like ridiculous. It's in like the 90 million area. But he's hurt, so he's not on over the cap. So I got to find this deal.
It's at the bottom of over the cap. So when you're talking about this, what I'm talking about is, let's use your scenario where we bring in a Kayvon Thibodeau just for the hypothetical situation. We bring in Thibodeau.
There it is.
He's terrific in our system. Chris Kashurt gets the best out of him. He gets him to pin his ears back, and we get a young pass rusher without the injury history who's really functional in this system. And you decide you're going to move Nick Bosa. The earliest you can move Nick Bosa is going to be after June 1st of next season. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, Kayvon Thibodeau has his 5th-year option, which is only $14 million next season. Mm-hmm. You structure the money so it hits after that season, and you have Nick Bosa come back for next season. You have Thibodeau, Huff, and Nick Bosa next season. And then you let Bosa walk in the fall, or you trade Bosa the following offseason, and there's almost no dead money hit, and you don't have to worry about the contract obligations as far as those guys are concerned. You could legitimately have all 3 of those guys on this team next year and fit it under the cap with no problem.
I like this right here, Joe Latu. Another low-key addition, if anything, not anticipating anything splashy. That's true. I'd love a sneaky get, somebody.
That's why I like Matthew Judon. That's why I like him for exactly that reason. That's a low key, but he could actually, if he comes in and gets you 6 or 8 sacks this year, just playing in pass rush situations, that could be the difference.
I'm looking at the dead cap right now of Nick Bosa. You're exactly right. His dead cap hit of this year, which is not happening, is what I said. It's $96 million, which is unreal. Mm-hmm. Next year, his dead cap hit, his pre-June 1 cut dead cap hit is $75 million. But you're right. After 2026, it's open season.
Yep.
At we're talking 33.5, 14.6. The Niners have eaten more than that. You know what I mean? So,
and if you do a post June 1, then there's all sorts of different ways to get that number down even more.
My God. His cut, they can do it as early as 2021. His post cut June 1 in 2025. Mm-hmm. His post cut June 1 is 43.6. His post cut June 1 in 2026 is 42. And in 27, it's 18.8.
And if you do a trade, it's even lower as opposed to a cut.
Trade is still bad. 71.53.
You know what I'm saying? For after next year?
Oh, shit. If they trade him, it's 18 across the board.
So if you have him come back from injury and play next season, you get Thibodeau, and he's still on his 5th-year option next year.
Right.
You get Huff, who's already signed to less than $20 million a year, and you get Nick Bosa. So that's funny.
Rich Steele's my boy, bro. We got a great love-hate relationship.
That dude's awesome. He's funny.
He is.
There's a scenario here where we go and trade for a guy like Thibodeau, and we end up having all 3 guys on the roster next season, and Nick Bosa balls out next year, and we get compensation for him in the following year.
I mean, my biggest thing right now, before we close this topic, is, are we run worthy? Do you believe, even if a move happens, like I said, I already said it, I want us to be able to make a move that hits multiple boxes, that checks multiple boxes, right? But just staying on the topic, do you think that this is way too early to call? Or do you think that there's something here?
It's too early to call.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we are run worthy given one caveat. And I think that will take us probably into another segment, which is Kyle Shanahan. Mm-hmm. If Kyle Shanahan continues to coach the way he's been coaching at the level he's been coaching this season, then you got to go get him another player because we're going to get healthier. When Kittle comes back, when Ayuk comes back, Mustafa comes back this week.
Mustafa's already practicing.
So once we start to get some of these players back,
I'm so fired up. He's back.
So fired up.
My God, bro.
If
about to
Kyle
take me to my
Shanahan
live watch
keeps
party
coaching
bag, bro.
the way he's been coaching, and we get these reinforcements, and you add another guy as well, now we're run worthy.
I can't wait to see how Coach Saleh uses Malik Mustafa.
Think about the 3 safety sets with Malik Mustafa, Jason Pinnock, and Siegel. And you have Tig Brown, who finally found his place in this defense as the big nickel. We might literally have a 4 safety set that is just, you can't run against it because you have multiple guys who will fly down in the box and blow somebody up. And the thing that people totally forget about Malik Mustafa, this is why I was so high on him last season. Mm-hmm. You know, he was top 5 in the NFL in almost every defensive back metric, coverage rates, coverage percentage, thrown to everything that you grade corners and safeties on. He was like 3rd or 4th or 5th in every single category. He was not just a missile coming down to fill in the gap, pause. He was an absolute monster against the pass as well.
Hey, you know what? We on Malik Mustafa right now.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Let's do it.
Y'all derailing the whole show, bro.
Do it. I'm with it.
Talk to me about the impact of what you think Malik Mustafa is going to bring. Now, okay, let's calm down. Do you think he's going to start? How soon do you think he's going to play? Do you think they're going to bring him back? You know, they're going to, pitch count him. Is he going to just get rolled out? Talk to me about Malik Mustafa, because I'm hyped. I got some shit to say about this.
I definitely think it depends on how he looks coming back. Does it look like he's still on time with things? Is he taking good angles and things like that? Or is it going to take a little time to knock the rust off? If it seems like it might take some time to knock the rust off, then they may just kind of layer him into the defense and playing in some like 3 safety sets. If not, if he comes out and he's just on it, then no, you have to put him in the starting lineup, because what it does for the defense is it gives you totally interchangeable safeties. Siegel's not as good as Malik Mustafa in both phases. I'm incredibly happy with the way that Siegel has played, and I think Malik Mustafa and Marquise Siegel are the future safeties of this franchise. Hands down.
This is my thing. How do you think they're going to split up the safety duo? You think it's going to be Jason Pinnock and Malik? Or you think it's going to be Marquise Siegel and Malik? All right, so this is what I think. I love you, Marquise, but you got to take a seat, brother.
Yep.
I believe that, and let me say this. This is not because I don't believe in Marquise Siegel. Seriously.
Totally.
I think Marquise Siegel is a very talented football player. I think that he's playing out of position. I think he's more of a free safety instead of a strong safety. I believe that Jason Pinnock is back there due to familiarity. I think he's back there because he understands the angles back there of the defense. He's kind of like the last line of what we need. He's an imperfect vessel. All right. I'm not here to say that he's Ed fucking Reed, but I am here to say that he's the best we got as far as being the free safety of this football team right now. And because of it, I think that Marquise Siegel on the field right now, playing out of position, is almost a tip of the cap to how talented he truly is. Mm-hmm. The fact that as a rookie, he can still make the field by being able to be utilized however the team needs him, it's kind of a big deal. I mean, if you look at the contrast of what Marquise Siegel is doing, that's kind of like the good side of I don't want to say what we're getting, but the first impression, at least, of Jair Brown moving the dime. Yep. Like, Jair Brown was like, I'm a safety. I'm a dime. Like, he was clearly upset about it. And I get it. But at the same time, Marquise Siegel, as a rookie playing out of position, he's just kind of like, I'm happy to be here. Another thing that I want to say about Marquise Siegel is that a lot of the plays that happen on him, he is there. He's in phase. He's there. Yeah, he's where he needs to be. Okay. He just doesn't have the length. Pause. He just doesn't. So my thing is that I feel as though that he gets singled out. I also feel as though that there's a lot of what happens with offenses is that the NFL football is matchup football. All right. Particularly because the X's and O's, you get labeled a genius for being able to fool a team with X's and O's because it's the pros and everybody knows the X's and O's. So when you're able to technically make somebody be wrong, it's a big deal. All right. It's something to be noticed. However, most football in the NFL is body on body, Bob, matchup football. My cat is better than your cat. Okay. That's what it is. And because of that, you get offenses who understand where weak links are on the defense. It's not just Marquise Siegel. We've seen it happen to Jason Pinnock. We've seen it happen to Upton Stout. Okay, we've seen guys get singled out on the defense, and that's what I feel like Marquise Siegel is a victim of, is that he is being singled out in matchup situations as the game progresses on big tight ends who could just catch 50-50 balls on him. All right, they're not really doing much. However, also another thing that I like about Marquise Siegel is that he's a dog in the run game, okay? And he's physical behind the line of scrimmage and in open space. I've seen a couple of misplays with angles, man, but for the most part, Marquise Siegel gets the job done, closes down on guys in space, tenacious, force contributor. However, the reason why they're getting as much as what they need out of him is because he's playing so close to the line of scrimmage. So they got to be able to place him closer to the ball to be able to get more bang for your buck out of him. You put Marquise Siegel at free safety, and the only time you're going to hear about him is when he fucks up. He's going to be too far away from the ball to be making tackles. You're going to be missing all of that talent that he has to be able to make tackles in the open field. And what happens is that you're going to be having Marquise Siegel singled out, getting picked on, all right, by the best receivers in the game. And then for all of us who just watch games and we ball watch, all we do is watch the ball. We're just gonna be looking at Marquise Siegel. It's like, man, he ain't it.
He just can't play.
Exactly. So I see the plan for Marquise Siegel, especially with how he's being rolled out vis-a-vis Coach Saleh. I get that. However, that spot isn't Marquise Siegel's spot. I see that spot as a gateway onto the defense.
Yep.
And because he has that spot, I believe that Malik is going to take that over.
I do.
Malik, now, what you get out of Malik, now I'm going to say some shit.
That man
Malik is a better run defender, all right? But I do believe, and this is going, Marquise Siegel is a little bit more nuanced than Malik Mustafa is, if that's the right word. He's a little bit more intelligently designed as far as playing with angles, understanding how to be a little bit more acute. Malik Mustafa brings a big bang, but he misses. Okay, that's just what it is. Sometimes he'll whiff. Other times with Malik Mustafa, I got to be able to see if Malik Mustafa is actually going to be there in pass protection, right? If he's going to understand the defense and be where he needs to be. I'll tell you this, with Marquise Siegel, he gets beat, but at least he's in the front row. He's the first guy to recognize it. He's fucking up fast, right? My thing with Malik Mustafa is sometimes when he makes mistakes, sometimes you're asking yourself, does he know where he's at on the field? He's a little bit erratic. He's a little bit wild, not playing in phase. And I just hope that some of those things get ironed out with the time that he's had playing throughout the season and, quite frankly, being around the team, getting ready to play. What do you think?
I do disagree a little bit on the way they take angles and stuff. One of the things that had me super excited about Malik Mustafa when we drafted him, I've never seen on – my apologies. I got to fix that. I've never seen somebody better in all the people that I have armchair scouted at filling the hole and coming down in the lane on the seams, coming from that safety position, being one-on-one and having to come down and fill the lane. I've never seen somebody better in college. Now, that doesn't mean there isn't somebody that was better. I've personally never seen someone better at coming downhill and filling the lane. And he does that very well at the NFL level as well. The thing about Malik Mustafa that makes him a game changer for this defense is, to me, his versatility. because Jason Pinnock. So it allows Jason Pinnock to be what he's supposed to be in this defense, which is more of a one high safety. He gets to use his veteran savvy, and he actually has really good athleticism as well. Mm-hmm. But Malik Mustafa, you can now roll coverages out of that because you can play Mustafa in space. He plays in space better than Marquis Siegel, in my opinion.
Mm.
And so you can now roll your coverages different directions, and it allows you, like you were saying about the matchups, it allows you to force the other team's offense into mismatches because you can now roll your coverages different directions and take guys out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives Robert Saleh another chess piece schematically.
Also, it gives us another tooth.
For sure.
It gives us another tooth.
Fang, baby.
It gives us a fang in the bite of the defense.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see Malik Mustafa.
I can't wait.
Streaking across the screen. Bro. Also, Malik Mustafa blitzing.
Oh, yeah.
Bro.
Huge upside.
Stuff like this makes me feel like, hold on, wait a minute. Like, we may not have to get somebody.
Yep.
You know? But I'm glad that we talked about that. This is just a topic that we had to throw in there. But let's get to our next topic. But I'm super excited about Malik Mustafa. So let's get to it. Mac Jones has been a revelation. And I know it annoys you. I love this. Okay? The yakety yaks have been yakking. All right? We understand Brock Purdy just signed a newly minted contract. All right? With the 49ers. He's out with turf toe. Tried to come back because he got a little nervous. All right? Couldn't pull it off. Got hurt again. Called Kyle and said, "Please, sir, I'm tired, boss." Okay. And now he's out for the foreseeable future until what I gauge, he's got to be 100% to be back. It doesn't make sense. You already shit the bed by bringing him back too soon, and you re-injured it. You aggravated it more. There's no way that anybody's going to, I mean, honestly, they'll say 100%, but I think if Brock gets to like 80, they'll bring him back, right? If he's just playing with discomfort, they'll bring him back.
You're probably right, and it's a mistake.
You think he should be back 100%?
They should wait till he's 100%.
All right, listen.
Mac has afforded you that ability.
All right, so this is when I try to be a friend to you. All right, because it's just too easy. Let me help you out. The way the game works is you're a Brock Purdy fan. All right.
Yep.
And the way the game works is that we don't want Mac to keep playing really, really good games because that hurts Brock. Do you see what I'm saying, Cheddar Boy? So
do you see this? I'm a 49er fan first. I love
do
Brock
that.
Purdy.
Oh, wait a minute. How dare you get self-righteous on my platform? How fucking dare you? Okay, relax. Okay, what I'm telling you is that let me get to the point. Brock Purdy being 100%, I don't think that's realistic. Turf toe is a beast, is a living and breathing organism, meaning that that's an injury that you can't slap a cast on it and put a prognosis on it. Turf toe is something where you can literally feel 80%, take a wrong step, and you're all the way back to 5% all over again. All right. It's literally what debilitated Deion Sanders. It's the reason why he's had the many ailments and surgeries that he's had. It's chronic. Okay. So it's basically, all right, I'm not going to get my Doogie Howser on. But what I'm saying is that I don't think that it's realistic to wait for 100% because I don't know what 100% will be. Right. There's got to be a timeline in the organization's mind where Brock must be back, right? Because there's no scenario where Mac Jones keeps playing at the level that he's playing at, and then all of a sudden this is the thing that's beautiful about football. Forget us, meaning the fans. Forget us. Mac Jones, Brock Purdy may stand the risk of losing his job the same way he got it.
Yep.
The number one caveat or the number one thing that completely screwed Trey and Jimmy in certain instances about Brock's emergence is that the locker room spoke.
That's right.
It was, he won too many games. I don't even care if you would want to say Trey won, got a third round. Let me tell you something. As much football that I have been through in my entire life, and I don't know much, but as much football that I've been through in my entire life, I love the game because I always learn something new. And one thing that I didn't know before Trey Lance, and something that I should have known, but I didn't know. Before Trey Lance, I believed that draft picks mattered. I really did. I thought that if you pick a guy high, especially top 10 quarterback, you're married to him, you know, that's what you got to do. You're going to get fired. The ownership is not having it. That's a huge investment. You set that organization back years if you don't make that happen, especially with trading up for a guy, right?
Yep.
So for me, that's the thought process that I had before Trey Lance. Trey Lance's process taught me that the locker room speaks higher than what the hell you think a draft pick does. All right. Quarterbacks are like transplants. All right. Transplanting organs. If the body rejects the organ, that's it. I don't care if it's viable. I don't care if it's the same blood type. I don't care if everything is right with it. If the body rejects it, the body rejects it. And the thing about Brock Purdy that made him so palatable is that he had this grassroots validation from the team that said, dude, this guy, I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck what you guys are doing in the office. This guy is our starter. I don't care about Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't care about Trey Lance. God love him. But right now, this is another thing that's real, especially in a pro game. This guy is helping me get paid. Right? This guy is helping me look good. This guy is keeping my kids in the same schools.
Hello, CMC.
Before we got to move. This guy is helping me pay my mortgage. That's the reason why Brock got won over, is because everybody who had a dog in the fight saw what Brock Purdy's situation did for their situation. If Brock does not come back, I guarantee you the locker room will feel that way about Mac Jones.
For sure.
If he keeps playing this way.
Absolutely.
So with the emergence of Mac Jones, is he a better fit, or is he better than Brock Purdy? Talk to me.
The question that everybody should be asking, in my opinion, is Mac Jones a better fit? I think that having the conversation of who's a better quarterback, I don't think it really it doesn't help you make a decision. You look at somebody like Brock Purdy. They're the kind of quarterback that needs a situation. You can't throw Brock into any situation on any team and see the kind of success that he has had. However, you also find good situations around the league. It's not like you can't put Brock in Denver and he's going to play really well. You can put Brock in Minnesota. He would play like there's other situations. It's not like Brock just can't play anywhere but San Francisco. By the same metric, the reason that Mac Jones is playing so well in the system is because he has such a similar skill set to Brock. They're both really good quarterbacks, but they're both even better fits for this system in the way Kyle Shanahan calls plays and goes about the offense. The thing to me that makes me wonder if Mac is a better fit, and yeah, it hurts to even consider it, is
Why?
Mac Jones a better fit? Because I'm a Brock guy. I don't want to see him. Come on, you know I want Brock to succeed. I'm willing to admit when the time comes, like, nope, it's not going to work out. I'm willing to look at the evidence of what seems to be clear regression from Brock over the last 15, 20 games. I'm willing to change my mind when presented with new information. It doesn't. I don't want it to happen. I want Brock to succeed. I want Brock to be an excellent quarterback that gets back to playing incredible anticipatory. I'm not going to go. Down that
this is how
rabbit
much this. Let me say this to you guys. Let me interject. This is how much this man over here. This is how much this man loves Brock Purdy.
I love Brock.
He loves Brock. Look. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you a little something about love, brother. If you really love something, you would rather see it happy.
Yeah.
Even if you weren't there.
That's right.
That's real love.
Yep.
Okay. So look, the love you have for Brock Purdy may have to be with the Broncos or some shit. Right? I'm just telling you.
Might have to be Minnesota next year.
All right.
So the whole thing with Mac is the reason I think Mac might be a better fit, getting back to the initial topic, is because Mac Jones operates in a dirty pocket better than Brock does.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the one thing that's probably the most clear to me on something that Mac does better than he. He clearly has a better arm, but it's the fact that he can still deliver a good ball from a dirty pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Too often when we see a bad ball from Brock, it's almost always either a dirty pocket, he couldn't set his feet, so on and so forth. If he's allowed to play from a clean pocket and set his feet, he's an excellent quarterback.
Mm-hmm,
Mac Jones has the size and the arm talent to play and to put the ball where it's supposed to be, even from a dirty pocket. He doesn't have to scramble to make that play. You and I were having a discussion about Brock Purdy's athleticism.
Right.
And we were really at odds about it. And one of the things that you were trying to make clear to me was Mac Jones makes some of those plays without having to get out of the pocket.
Thank you.
Right. And so you can make the case Brock Purdy's a better athlete. I don't think that's a controversial take. You can make the case that Brock Purdy's better out of the pocket. However, Mac Jones can make the play without having to leave the pocket, and that is exactly what Kyle Shanahan wants. He wants his quarterback to fix it from the pocket.
The most confusing thing of all time is when there was this narrative. Okay, let's go tinfoil hat. And we're going to start doing these shows out of my studio, bro. Like, I like StreamYard is whack, bro. But let's go tinfoil hat, bro.
Okay.
I have nothing, bro. I'm shooting in the dark right now. All right. So this is not corroborated at all. I'm not one of those content creators that's like, I have an insider, I'm telling you. I'm not that guy. But sometimes just seeing things and keeping a good memory creates a clearer picture. If you just remember to keep your puzzle pieces in your back pocket, right? Sometimes some things aren't meant to make sense immediately. But if you have a good memory and you have good recall, sometimes you can be able to create that picture clearly. And a lot of people don't think you can do that because having good recall and a good memory is rare. A lot of people say they know how to remember shit. Most people don't remember anything. Okay. But one thing that I am stuck with is the energy around Kyle in his press conference talking about his perfect quarterback. Remember that? And Kyle was saying, like, I remember that Trey Lance was ridiculously getting like comp to Josh Allen, and which was crazy. And I remember Kyle, he was answering the question like, and this was like the cloak and dagger season. So like nobody's telling the truth. It's like draft season.
Yeah.
But Kyle was talking and he was saying something along the lines of like, everybody will want Josh Allen. You know what I mean? Anybody will want that guy to be able to coach him up. And I think at the time, because Trey Lance was kind of in the mist, we all attributed that posthumously when we went back to Kyle was talking about Trey Lance at that time. You know, Kyle was saying that that's what he saw in Trey Lance. Now that I'm in the position that I am now, it really makes sense that Kyle was just answering that question as straightforward. Like, who wouldn't want Josh Allen? What Josh Allen is now. Yeah, I'd take him too. Yeah, I agree with you. Right? However, dude, what do you think about? I don't think that Kyle wanted Trey, bro. I think that, you know what I think? I think that Kyle really wanted Mac. And because Kyle wanted Mac so bad that he was going along with the plan to trade up to 3. But I think the organization on the low thought that Kyle was going to go up to get Justin Fields or Trey Lance. Because at the time, 1 and 2 was already done. Mm-hmm. Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence were gone. All right. So really at 3, outside of Mac Jones, you were looking at Justin Fields or Trey Lance. And for us, they're not the same player, but they have some similarities. They're both mobile. You know, They're both guys that needed a little bit of work at the time. They needed development. They're both black. Like, we already knew, like, the similarities between them. But we thought at the time that those were the two. Going up to 3 automatically eliminated Mac Jones, right? So,
because you can get him at 12. That was the thought.
Get him at 12. Like, exactly. Yeah. I loved exactly. So, going up to 3, seeing how unbelievably, like, you know, Kyle does not care. He does
not give a fuck.
Yo,
let's be clear about it. Kyle Shanahan has been very clear. He does not give a fuck. Fuck them picks.
Let me tell you something, bro. He's
going to get what he wants, and he does not give a fuck what the ramifications are.
I've heard.
Sorry about all the F-bombs.
No, dude, this is the coach's huddle, bro. We in the huddle. In the huddle, let me tell you something. The reason why this is a fuck around and find out platform is because in the huddle, you be amazed at what's said in the huddle. This is the huddle, goddammit. So I'll say this, man. I done quit some jobs, man. I really have. I done quit some jobs. I've been fired too. Bro, I ain't never heard of nobody taking the time to put together a PowerPoint presentation on why they want to quit their damn job. Kyle Shanahan is a different breed, bro. He is a different breed. You hear me?
Fact.
All right. So when you know that about him, that's also a guy who you feel like he is not going to get forced to do anything that he does not want to do. All right. He'll burn it all down. His father had a little bit of that in him too. All right. He'll burn it all down before he bends the knee. I don't understand. Now that I see Kyle with Mac Jones, I truly believe that that the Trey Lance pick, Kyle got outvoted. I think that he didn't have enough bodies on his Mac Jones tip, and he got outvoted. There's nothing about Trey Lance's time here that mimics anything to the short time that Mac has been here. And
I'm talking about Jimmy.
Dude, I'm talking about all of it. I'm talking about play selection. I'm talking about mannerisms, interactions, comments post-game, comments pre-game. I've heard none of what Kyle has had to say about Mac Jones, even remotely close to how he felt about Trey Lance or Jimmy Garoppolo for that matter.
Yep.
Or Brock Purdy.
Brock, he literally said Brock is the real deal. And so he's actually said a lot of things about Brock.
Let me give you context.
Yeah.
He said Brock is the real deal when he was challenged on whether or not Brock was going to be the starter based off of the 8 games that he played. That was more of a full-throated response. Yeah. Right? But
that's still more than he was doing for Jimmy or Trey.
True. Which is so crazy, but true. Crazy. However, when have you ever heard Kyle say that he was thoroughly impressed with Brock.
That's fair.
When have you ever heard him say that?
That's actually even more than saying someone's, a legit
the real
guy.
deal.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
When have you
he's not easy to impress, that's for sure.
When have you ever seen Kyle fucking, what's that guy's name that in the Notebook?
Ryan Gosling?
When the fuck have you seen Ryan Gosling fucking Kyle and grab him in Notebook, grab him by his face? And like, come on, tell me what you want. I waited for you. Like, when is the last time have you seen Ryan Gosling a quarterback the way he did Brock?
Somebody needs
it
to
was
make
a
that
rain
meme.
scene in the Notebook.
Somebody needs to make that meme.
Everybody knows the cover of the Notebook. If you've ever dated in college, you understand the Notebook was the gateway movie that made you okay to the woman that you were dating at the time. Everybody broke out the Notebook and you just had to sit through it and say, oh, this is a great movie. Oh man, I really understand the imagery here. Like, the cinematography is awesome. But every guy has had to sit through the Notebook. We've all had to sit through the Notebook. And the way Kyle grabbed Mac, that was the Notebook. It was the rain scene. I've never seen that, Damon.
I think that there's a real possibility that the ownership, and when I say the ownership, I'm talking about daddy, not the son, may have stepped in with that quarterback pick. When they made the decision to move all that stuff to go up for a quarterback, and let's not forget that the reason they moved up to 3 was so that they could openly scout the quarterbacks. That was their reason for trading all that to move up to 3 when they did, which is wild. Everybody knows that you're scouting quarterbacks. What the fuck do you have to? Anyway, sorry, that whole process still bothers me. But the fact is, I think you're totally correct. I think that Kyle Shanahan had Mac in mind, went along with the trade and all the acquisitions, because Kyle, he just wants his guys. He doesn't care how they get them. And I think he got talked into Trey because somebody from above the organization said, listen, I think we should go with the guy that has the potential because he's got a higher ceiling. And just like when they were in Washington and the owner stepped in and said, listen, I know you like Kirk Cousins, but we want to go with RG3 because he has more potential. I'm inclined to believe that Kyle can't be forced, but at the same time, we've seen his dad and him get forced to take the quarterback they didn't want before. We can't act like the same thing didn't happen in Washington. The difference is they got the guy they wanted 4 years later instead of 4 rounds later.
Hey, yo, look, I agree with you, Damon. But this comment is hilarious. Great 1765. Great One is one of my dogs. He's been around since day one. Great One. Now everyone want to repeat what I already said years ago and said wasn't true. Great One, you got to come on a call-in show to actually put your voice to your words, man. Like you've been typing a lot. Great One, you got to come into the chat, bro. You got to come out. I'm sorry, not come into the chat. You got to come out of the chat and get on the call-in show. I'm going to do a call-in show on Saturday, man. It's been a long time, bro. I'm going to do a call-in show. But, yeah, I agree with you. So let me ask you this. What is a real path? I'm going to ask you 2 questions, all right? What is a real path to nipping this in the bud? And what is a real path that something needs to be done?
Nipping what in the bud?
This quarterback situation between Mac Jones and Brock Purdy.
I think it's going to work itself out on the field. I think that you have to wait until Brock can play at 100%, even if maybe you say, okay, his toe's not 100%, but he doesn't have any limitations on the field. You can't put him out there when he's still limited on the field unless Mac Jones is more limited. That's why I actually think he played in Jacksonville. He was just less limited than Mac was at the time.
You thought Mac was truly more injured than Brock?
Yeah, I think that the way that they look at it, and Kyle Shanahan has said this over and over again, can he protect himself? That's his evaluation metric. Does the medical staff say he's good or not? And then if the medical staff says good, can he protect himself? Right? Mm-hmm. Does he have the mobility, the athletic ability to protect himself? They probably felt like Brock Purdy had more of an ability to protect himself than Mac Jones did, because Mac Jones's knee was probably much worse at Jacksonville a week earlier. That extra week to heal up that knee probably did a lot for Mac. Now, moving forward, if Brock Purdy re-aggravated that toe injury,
mm-hmm.
I just, it's possible he plays against Tampa, but I think that it's difficult for him to be able to get ready to play and to be able to protect himself as well as Mac Jones did or can. And when you consider the fact that Mac Jones, while just limping all over the place, was still able to perform, was still clearly able to get the job done, that has to be taken into consideration as well. You have to sit Brock until he's able to play at 100%. And then once he gets his job back, he keeps it unless he gets injured again.
Sacred intuition is fucking nuts. Yo. All right, great 675. Purdy made the phone call to Kyle saying his toe hurt because he performed bad. Happens every time. Purdy plays bad. Excuses. Let's go ahead and get this super chat out of the way. My dog, sorry for getting to you late. Joseph Unberg, people need to stop being so positive this season. Any addition is subtraction long term. This should be a throwaway season for the draft in the future. Listen, I understand that take as well. Stand pat. Keep the main thing, which is we need another full draft class to get in here to help us out with this Trey Lance trade. We're still answering for it.
Let me ask you, are you going to get a pass rusher that's better than Kayvon Thibodeau in the 4th round next year? Probably not. So if you can go get a Kayvon Thibodeau, who's a 3rd pass rusher on another team, and they're willing to come off of that because it's the best offer they get and they're not going to re-sign him, if you give up a 3rd or a 4th round pick, you're getting a better player than the person you would be drafting at that spot next year. That's why you'd be willing to give up some future draft capital. You just can't give up a lot. You can't give up a 1st or a 2nd. You can't give up multiple picks or anything like that. But if you can get Kayvon Thibodeau or a guy like that for like a 4th round pick, you absolutely do it, because he's better not just this year, but also next year than the guy you would have drafted, most likely.
I understand your point. Cynthia, it is so good to see you, girl. Sis, it is so good to see you. I haven't seen you in the chat in a while, man. Welcome back. Doubt that Brock plays for Tampa, nor do I want him to. Let him get healthy. She also says, I disagree with that great one. I've never seen Brock hide from responsibility. That is true. Yep. What do you got going on for the end of the week, for the rest of the week, brother?
I got Niners by the Numbers coming out on my channel, the Niner Narrative, tomorrow. And I've got another one coming out Friday. I haven't finished all the topics yet, but just trying to put out a couple episodes a week, doing this with you and trying to build this thing.
Hey, man. Check the description of the video. We've got Chunder Boy's content in there, so you guys can check out the Niner Narrative. He's truly talented, guys. I found him the way Grant found me. It's just each one teach one and paying it forward. Hey, tomorrow, we got the faithful review with me and Tom are back. And if you got a little bit of change, move on over to Patreon to catch us at the 4-man front with me, Jesse Naylor, Ryan Hensley, and the boy Grant Cohn. Hey, this is the coach.
49ers show.
Stay low. I love that show, bro. Hey, man, we're going to grow, man. We getting a little sedity, but, fuck with us. You know what I'm saying? So, look, hey, stay low and keep your feet moving. I'll holler at you guys. Peace.